I enjoy reading updates from folks that have previously FIRE'd. I'm struck by the variety of paths, annual spend targets/budgets, what folks do with their newfound free time, and the mental challenges that go along with it. Hopefully my story will add to the variety found here, and some will find it interesting or even inspiring. My wife and I fired just over 2 years ago and are in our early 50s. We achieved our version of FIRE mostly with only my modest income from a military/government career and simple low-cost mutual fund investing starting in our late 20s when I was a young enlisted with 4 kids. Investments really took off when I retired from the military at 26 years as an officer, and transitioned into government service. During this time kids were mostly grown and we were essentially drawing 2 full salaries and investing 6 figures a year. My wife spent most of her time raising our kids, though she did work a bit in high schools when our children attended. More to keep an eye on them and have a good relationship with the school/teachers, but she did bring in a modest salary as well that we fully invested. Kids are all grown and self-sufficient at this point. Everything we have, we earned on our own. Our net worth is right around $2 million and we have an annual budget/spend currently at $140,000. I hold about $100,000 in cash, yeah I know, and about $800,000 in IRAs and TSPs, military 401k. Our primary home is paid off and if you are to believe Zillow, worth about $900,000. We commit $2,000 a month to a second home, so I would say our annual spend is closer to $120,000. Our second home is rented and valued at $400,000 with $140,000 of equity and a 3.1% mortgage. We have 2 cars that are paid off and no other bills other than the ones that will never go away: property, car and medical/dental insurance, taxes, utilities, food, gas, internet, cable TV, car/home maintenance, and HOA. I'm not a compulsive budget tracker, but I do keep track generally, and estimate we pay about $4,000 a month in those bills. Travel is a big part of our version, and we budget $24,000 a year. We target 2 good at least 2-week vacations and another 2 to 3 smaller, week-long-ish. As an example, this year we've been on an 11-day Caribbean cruise, a week in Miami/Orlando, and a week in Hawaii. We still have planned a 10-day Alaskan cruise and an 8-day European river cruise staying after in Europe for a spell. We are more frugal than luxury when we travel, but do like to splurge sometimes. We don't specifically budget for home upgrades, but my wife and I are both handy and enjoy working on our home and others. We probably have spent on average about $15,000 a year on projects, pavers/fire pit, closets, etc. Our income comes mostly from a 26-year military pension and another 6+ years working for the government. My pension is $60,000 a year and I receive another $18,000 from the VA for some bumps and bruises I collected along the way. Those are both cost of living adjusted for the rest of my life. The rest comes from rental income, $24,000, TSP, $18,000, $16,000 after early withdrawal penalty, and about $20,000 from very flexible working, like working whenever I want flexible. Right now I do about 6 to 8 days a month. Because of my military retirement, we are fortunate that our medical insurance requirements are far less than most. Some might be wondering why I'm taking money out and paying early withdrawal penalties even while I'm sitting on cash and spent less than my yearly budget. Well, if I'm being honest, I actually think we should be pulling more out even with penalty, and spending more. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, a life of living relatively frugal has made it somewhat difficult to spend to our targets. We have stable income streams with more coming in the future. At 59. 5. The plan is to start to pull even more aggressively from TSP accounts with the intent to deplete them by the time I'm 67, which I anticipate will be $40,000 or so a year. At 62, I start drawing another modest deferred government pension of about $7,000 to $10,000 per year, depends how long I keep working in the P/T position I am in, and this too will be COLA. At 67, both my wife and I will start drawing SS that is projected to be around $50,000 a year. At some point here in the next 5 to 10 years we'll sell our second home and have another few $100,000 to figure out how to spend. And with modest market predictions, i.e. 7 to 8%, our IRAs will be worth over $1 million when we are 67. The equity in our home is our main emergency account, and my kids are well on their way to be successful on their own, so other than splitting up this when we eventually pass, the goal will be to spend as much as we can of everything else. Are we content? I'd say most of the time, but particularly when we are traveling. At home I'm seemingly very busy either working on various home projects, we have elderly parents and get over multiple times a week to visit and help. We work out a few times a week, play or watch sports and go to events relatively often. Though we have friends that we meet at the bar weekly and have neighborhood wine get-togethers, if I'm being completely honest, I'd like a bit more social interaction beyond family, working on this. Sometimes we both struggle, me probably a bit more so, as I know I can make pretty great money and improve any organization I am a part of. Sometimes I feel a bit less for not being more traditionally productive in society. I guess in general, I'm so damn grateful that I can spend time with family and friends whenever I want. Whether it's running over to my mom's and do yard work with her, going out to lunch with my daughter at the drop of a hat, helping my father-in-law build a shed, or going visit my kids anytime I want no matter where they are, I mean the flexibility to do what you want whenever you want is something P. Some might say we have a pretty rich life, I'm one of those. Others might say we settled and could have more, my mom is one of those. Others will say that $140,000 a year isn't nearly enough to support the lifestyle they want. Some of my friends have this sentiment. For my wife and I, we are still figuring it all out, but enjoying where it seems to be going.